Parents, grandparents, while a lot of people say, oh, well, I feel a lot of pressure from my partner to have kids, a lot of people get that same pressure, if not more so, from their parents or grandparents because they want a grandbaby, they want a great grandbaby. And I don't think that we talk about this enough. I think that I hear a lot of people talking about this from the space of partner, getting it within the relationship, but in a platonic space, the people that have raised you, the people that have seen you grow, the people that know you in such an intimate way outside of romance, that have expectations of you. A lot of people have a harder time navigating that than navigating a partner that may or may not be here in the next 2 months. Now, I'm not going to read this whole article, which is really more of like a firsthand recollection of a woman who's like grandparent age navigating this reality with her 2 children. I will highlight a couple of sections of this, but before I do, and we'll have a discussion. But before I do, hi, for those of you who are new here, my name is Shayna. I am joyfully child-free, and I am traveling the world right now. I'm currently in Spain, going to be here for at least a year. We'll see what happens. So if any of that sounds like a vibe, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to read any of my articles, there's a link somewhere in my bio for that on my website. Anyway, now let's dive into this from AARP. We're going to start with, I am 73 and I experience grandma envy a lot. It flares up when friends send me photos of their grandkids baking cookies with them, trick-or-treating in adorable grandma-made costumes, or blowing out their birthday cake candles with grandma standing right next to them, ready to help. I feel it when I see a grandmother pushing a happy cutie pie on the playground swings. I have been known to wander over to the baby section in the department store just to admire the onesies. When you ask someone what they plan to do in retirement, the answer you are likely to hear is, I want to spend time with my grandchildren. Don't know what that accent was. We're going to keep it pushing. I may never get to do that. It cuts like a knife. My children are 26 and 23, admittedly on the young side to start a family, but both remain vocal and adamant that bringing a child into this world into this insane world is an act that borders on criminal. The truth is, as much as I want to be a grandma, I don't entirely disagree with them and completely agree that it is their choice to make, not mine. When the topic comes up, I generally get a lot of recitation of all that is wrong in the world: global wars, climate change, multiple random mass shootings, natural disasters, intolerance, prejudice, hatred, dysfunctional governments, corrupt politicians, food insecurity, killer pandemics, never seen before diseases, wildlife extinction, intense heat waves, record-breaking storms, mass floods, snowfalls taller than buildings, drought, wildfire infernos, bees dying, disappearing coral reefs, unaffordable housing, and economic uncertainty. Yeah, that's a pretty solid list. It's a pretty solid list. We're skipping down a little bit. My kids seem to be a part of a rising tide of young adults who say that they aren't planning to have children. Some call it choosing to be childless or child-free by choice. Technically child-free by choice, but she's figuring it out. She's 73. We're giving her grace. And the reasons why they feel that way are as varied as the individuals. Much of the stigma has lessened for women choosing to not become mothers. They no longer are expected to do the old-time generational 2-step, get married and start a family. Honestly, I do understand it. I just selfishly hate it. Pause there. Now, this person says the quiet part out loud. I just selfishly hate it. Now, they continue on to talk about how they were a career woman and they loved their career and they made great friends and they had like single ladies brunches and all this stuff. And then when they turned 50, they like hit their head and said, oh, the children. I think I want children. Not exactly like this, I'm paraphrasing. But it's like, oh my goodness, I think I want children. So then they went and adopted 2 girls from China. How I feel about transracial adoptions is a story for another day, because it tends to be more dangerous than beneficial for the kids. But listen, it seems like, at least from the mother's point of view, from this person's point of view, adoptive mother's point of view, seems like things went okay. But once again, I'd love to talk to the daughters about this, but they're not here to share their side of the story. Anyway, so they adopt these children. They say, oh my goodness, this is the best thing that I could have done. I feel so fulfilled. This is great. And then they want the babies. They want the squishies. Now, here's the thing. One, we all need to remember that, especially if you're getting pressure from your family, selfishly, they just hate it. They recognize all that is going on in the world. They recognize that, like, listen, I get that the world is terrifying, especially if you live in certain countries where, things are worse in certain ways. This person mentioned mass shootings. It's giving United States, right? But like, you look at what's going on in other parts of the world. The global birth rate is declining for a reason. And this person understands it. I think a lot of people within this age range, people that are parents, but like of an older generation, they recognize this. But selfishly, they want the ability to have all the fun parts of the baby in a world that they can curate as much as they can. They don't have to, they already know what it's like to wake up in, like, a video that I tagged earlier, that this was tagged, I'll just pin it right up there, to be slathered in poop. They know what it's like to do all of some of them don't do the PTAs, but to, like, do the homework. Some of them don't do the homework. They've done a version of parenting, but they just want to do the fun parts now. And that's what grandparenting is. It's supportive. It is very soft. It is the fun parts, right? You get to come in, you get to swoop in, save the baby from a weekend of boredom, from a whatever, and you say, you should give me the squish. And sure, some grandparents have more responsibilities than others, depending on what's going on with the parents. But some grandparents, whether they want to or not, become parents 2.0. I have so many family members that are being raised by grandparents, right? And the grandparents don't enjoy that. I have never heard a grandparent say, oh, I'm so grateful that I get to raise a grandchild from beginning to end, that I get to raise now that I'm in my 60s and 70s, I get to raise it. No, they don't want that. They want the fun parts. You get all that other stuff. They want the fun parts. Selfishly, they just hate it. So that's point number one. Point number two is that, yeah, I can understand the cravings for, like, for like all of the things that are in here, right? Like the making the cookies and the trick-or-treating and the candles and the dip, like, it's cute stuff. I can understand wanting to do that. Every now and then I want to do that with somebody else's baby too. I don't want a baby of my own, but I like to just squeeze somebody else's baby and give it back, right? It's a form of therapy for me. Just bite a fat little, and then you give it back. Oh, it's great. Now, I know that this is not a lot of people's ideal situation, but because I'm watching it play out right now with my mom, and I see what it's doing for her, the nuclear family, the ideal of the nuclear family, it doesn't just live within the nuclear family, it also extends to people that are in this kind of situation where it's like, oh no, I need a grandchild that is of my specific family to fill this selfish need that I have. My mom is out there, not as we speak because it's a 6-hour time difference, but my mom is out there and she volunteers. She works right now as a paraprofessional for special needs kids. She volunteers at church. She babysits kids, like small children, for fun. She helps parents. My mom gets all the baby hugs and time and whatever, and they call her auntie, they call her imo, they call her what. My mom gets this cup filled. And yeah, these babies aren't my baby, they're not my brother's baby, but she finds a way, if that's an actual craving that you have to help nurture and love a child, that child does not have to be biologically created by your children. If it's an actual need that you have, then that's possible. Now, if it's something that's even more selfish, no, I don't care about the other babies. I need it to be my nuclear family, right? I need it to be within this specific nucleus that I am a part of biologically. Then, I don't know about that. I don't think I like that. But those are just my thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please tippity type them in the comment section. And yeah, that's all for now. Bye-bye.